Hey, how's it going? And today this is just a experimental lesson. This is on creating audio-driven dynamic materials, and so we'll see where this goes. This is just in the early stages of me developing this. So the first thing that we need is a material. So I'm going to right click and go to material here up on top. We'll just leave it called new material, and I'll double click into it. And all we need for this is just real basic. We're just going to hold down 3 and click, and this is just going to get us a vector that we're going to use for our color RGB. And I'm going to right click and convert it to a parameter, and I'll just call this color. Then what we're going to do is we're going to hold down 1 and click, and then we're going to get a scalar, and we're going to right click and convert that to a parameter, and we're just going to call this value, and the name is important. And then you can set this to any color you want. So I don't know, I'll set it to a kind of reddish color, let's say. Well, if I want to make it all the way red, I'll just do that. And then I'm going to get a multiply node. So search for multiply right here. And you can play around with these values, and we're just going to plug this into here and this into here and this into here. And so to start with, maybe I will give it a 1 or something like that, which really shouldn't change very much. And this is what we're going to use to control the intensity of this color. In fact, I might want to, well, we'll play around with it later. Anyway, we might come back to that, so I'll go ahead and dock that up on top. Now we need something to apply the material to, so we're going to right click, create a blueprint class, go to there, to actor, and I'm just call this BP underscore cube. And we're going to just click into it, and all we need this is just the object that we're putting the material onto. So I'll just go cube right there, and then we just need to slap on that new material. So I'll search for it, new material, and it's right there. And there it is. And then we can just drag this into the scene. So this is going to be our talking element or whatever. So if I hit F, it's right there. Or if let me hit play and see where it is. It's right up there. Okay, maybe it's a little high. Bring it down a little bit more. Okay, that's all we need to do with that. And then the next thing is we're going to create one more blueprint, and this is what the kind of our main blueprint here. And I'm just going to call this BP underscore audio driver, like that. And we're going to go ahead and click into this, and this is what's really going to be running everything. And there's quite a few interesting things to do on here. Now, I have brought in a WAV file, and one thing that we need to do is we need to click into it, and there's a setting in here. We have to enable it, and it's on envelope. So let me just search for it. Envelope right here where it says envelope. We need to click this and save that. And that's all we need to do for our WAV file. And you could convert that into a sound cue if you wanted, but a WAV file is fine for what we're doing. Like I said, this is more exploratory and experimental. So anyway, here we are. We've got that done. We need an audio component, so we'll go get audio component. And like I said, there is a number of ways that you can set this up. This is just the way that I'm setting it up for now. And the first thing that I'd like to do is kind of get a connection to our material and then create a dynamic instance of that. So this one, I don't need this node, so I'm going to get rid of it. So let's get a reference to our BP cube. So what I'm going to do is right click and go get actor of class, like that, and we'll plug this in. And I don't think we need our details panel right now. So once we have this node, then we just need to select our BP cube right there, compile and save, and then we just want to get that material. So we'll go get material, and it says cube right there, which is fine. And now what we can do is, this part is important, is to pull off of here and go create dynamic material instance. When I've done this in the past, I've gotten into trouble getting my references correct. So that's something important to do. Now off of here, this is going to go into there because that's our target. And then we just plug this in here. And the last thing we're going to do is just promote this to a variable, and we'll just call this material. Then we're just doing that for convenience, you know, so we don't have to drag a string all the way over here. I'm going to run this off of an event tick. There's other ways that you could do this, but this is just the way that I'm going to do it. So we're going to get that audio player here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to search for that setting that we enabled for our envelope. So we're going to right click and search for get cooked. It's this one here. Get cooked amplitude envelope data. This one. Oh, I guess it already comes in with that, so we don't even need that. Okay, so it already comes in wired up. So it's going to be getting at 30 frames a second. Now this is going to be outputting a value on our amplitude, and it's just a single value. And what I'd like to do is get this reference to our material that we have now. And off of here, we can set the scalar parameter value that's actually called value. So set scalar parameter value right here. And this part's pretty fun. So this just plugs in here like that. And the parameter name is value. So we'll just type in value. And then we just plug this in here like this. And it may be that we want to make some other adjustments later, but essentially that's all we need to do. This is the whole thing. And like I said, there's a lot of different ways you could do this, but let's compile and save this. And now let's go to our audio component and let's get that test. It's called test wave. It's just something silly I made up. Until you hear it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I'll turn up the audio on my computer here. It's kind of silly. And then, let's see. I think that's all we need to do. Let me just double check. So we got our material, the value. This is what we're going to be adjusting. And there's our cube with the material. There's our test wave file. There's our BP audio driver. And we do need to drag this into the scene. And maybe what I'll do is I'll turn down the lights a little bit so we can see this. And I have no idea if this is going to work. So let's hit play and see what happens.
Hawaii Film School. It turns out that you only need 3 people to run it. You don't need this whole army of people to run Hawaii Film School.
I see it moving. I see it lighting up, but it's not bright enough. I don't think these values that are coming in are not they're not big enough to implement a change. So one thing we could do is the values coming out right here, we could just increase them here. So let's add a multiplier here. So I think we can drag off of here and go multiply. And let's just say, we'll plug this in here like this. And let's just try different ones. Let's really jump it up. So let's do like a 10. No, I don't think that's enough. So let's try 20 and see what happens. We'll have to just experiment with different values and see. Let me hit play.
Hawaii Film School. It turns out that you only need 3 people to run it. You don't need this whole army of people to run Hawaii Film School.
We go into the new material here. We can actually put this into the emissive color here. That might be all that we need to do. So you just play around with these values, but I think it is working. Let me hit play.
Hawaii Film School.
Oh yeah, see?
It turns out that feel the need three people to run it. You don't need this whole army of people to run Hawaii Film School.
Okay, so just to double check those values, see what was it? I had, well, here it's just a 1, and on the here I put it up to 20. So I multiplied it here. But I think that's working. This is kind of what I'm getting at. So what I'd like to do is apply this same concept on the mask of a robot when they're talking, when the robot's talking.
Hawaii Film School, it turns out that you only need three people to run it. You don't need this whole army of people to run Hawaii Film School. You know, it turns out if Hawaii Film School was not in the censorship industry, you don't even need three people.
So anyway, that's all I had for today. Take care. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.